The Butler County Bears football program has only won 6 games the last 2 years, winning only 2 last season.
But so far this season, things have really turned around. The Bears are off to their first 2-0 start since the 08 season and beat Breckenridge County 62-0 last week. And joining us on the Sports Connection is the head coach of the Bears, Ryan Emmick. Coach, appreciate you being on. The first time being on. So
good to see you, Coach.
Good to see you.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the win last year, 62-0. I mean, that's not easy to do in any sport. Talk about the game.
Well, I mean, as a situation, we went out and our guys had the mindset. It was a homecoming game for us, and, we had a nice crowd there. The guys were excited about it, and, all week long it had been a really focused practice. The guys were doing a great job of understanding what Breckenridge County was trying to do, what we were trying to do to stop them, and, we went out and executed perfectly. I mean, very little of what we saw on film after the game that we could really get upset about, and the guys did everything that we asked them to do, and I think that was the result of it.
Coach, how big was that first game against Logan County of the season to get that win, the 29-27 victory? How much do you think that played into that confidence going into that second week and that big win?
Well, definitely. It was something we pointed to all year long, is starting the season off right. And it started back in our off-season program with our off-season conditioning, the weight training program that Coach Brian Bivens has set up in the off-season. And that was something that, we've talked about. We want to start a season off the right way. And our guys really focused in on, winning that first game. We knew Logan County was a tough opponent. Coach Dana is a great coach. He had his guys prepared. And, it was one of those we were fortunate to come out on the winning side of it.
Last year was your first year with the team. You guys only won 2 games all of last year, and you've already got 2 in the first 2 games this year. I mean, what's the difference between last year's team and this year's team? Are some guys stepping up, guys getting older? How is that transition come about?
We knew that last year we were a very young football team. We were starting, we only had 3 seniors on our football team, so we knew that it was going to be one of those years that it was going to be a learning situation for us. We were going to take our lumps, and I think that's the result of what we're seeing right now. Our guys have learned how to play the game of football. We've learned what it takes to compete within our region, within our district, and they put in the work in the offseason again. And all that is starting to come together for us. We knew last year it was going to take a little time to build. We knew it was going to take a little time for us to understand where we were supposed to go, and we can see that in practice now. We're not having to spend time just trying to get things set up. Our guys know where to go. They know how we do things and what our expectations are. So now we're moving through things in practice, so we're getting to the main things we got to get to now. We can really focus on our opponents.
Coach, talk a little bit about those opponents. I mean, first of all, Class 2A is not an easy class in the state of Kentucky, and you've got Grayson County coming up. You've got Owensboro Catholic, Edmondson County. I mean, you've got some really great competition coming up. Talk a little bit about that schedule.
I'm excited, and I think all of our players are excited about our schedule. We've got Fort Knox coming up this Friday. In the future, we've got, McLean County. We've got Hancock County, Owensboro Catholic. Every one of these guys, they're quality opponents, and they're, we talk about tests for us, and they are a big test. Each and every week, we're going to test ourselves. We're going to see, do we have inside what it takes to be champions, and that's what we've worked for all year long. That's what we're going to continue to work for, and they're measuring sticks for us. These are great programs that we're going and playing, and that's what we want to be.
When you look at, this is your second season, Coach, and you've had an opportunity to coach these guys, how would you break down your squad this year versus maybe last year? More specifically, when you look at the guys in the trenches, the linemen and some of the skilled players, you feel really good about this team?
Oh, definitely. I feel good about this team. I know that we've got to continue to improve. That is a mindset that we have to have. We can't rest on what we've accomplished these past 2 weeks because, in all honesty, we can't look like we've accomplished anything. We're 2-0 right now, but we can very quickly end the season 2-8. But I look at our offensive and defensive lines. That's been our major area of improvement. You don't win in high school football unless you're dominant on the offensive and defensive line. And we played well. We haven't been dominant by any stretch of the imagination, but we've done good things. And that allows our skilled players to get out and to make special plays, like what happened last week with Clay Embry. He had a great game. Why? Because he had 10 guys around him that were doing their job and were fighting for him so that he could get out and make plays. And that's what we've got to have across our team.
Now that you guys are off to that quick start, 2-0, how do you kind of rein in the players so maybe some of the guys maybe don't necessarily get a big head, but get ahead of themselves and just make sure that you stay focused each week on the task at hand?
I mean, it goes back to the old saying, you take it one game at a time, and, we get to enjoy our wins over the weekend, but once we come back in on Monday, it's time to go back to work. And I think that was a mentality that we started back in February, we started back in January, was we're going to take each of our successes that we have, we're going to enjoy those successes, but at the same time, we're going to learn from them, and then we're going to continue to improve. And it's a mindset. We've got an older group of kids now. I've got a good group of seniors. I've got a good group of juniors, and they understand that, last year we didn't get where we wanted to be. This year we know what it's going to take. We know how we have to focus. We know the little things that we've got to put in order to be successful.
Coach, you talked earlier about the conditioning of your players, and it looks like you may have 55, 60 players on your squad this year.
Well, we're sitting right at about 45 at the current moment. Yes.
Okay, so obviously that conditioning is really going to come into play as you get further into the season, and I would imagine some of your guys go both defense and offense. Just kind of talk about that off-season conditioning and how it's benefited you guys so far.
We tried to set up our off-season conditioning program to mirror a season. So we had, the preseason set up where our guys got in. They were able to just kind of get a taste of the lifting program. Then we started our regular season, weeks 1 through 10. Then we had the postseason all the way up to a championship week. And we tried to mirror the stresses that they were going to see throughout the season and mirror some of the adversity that they were going to see throughout the season and the postseason within our, off-season conditioning program. And the guys really bought into it because it was a competitive type of environment. Yeah. And because they were competing, they're working a little bit harder without really realizing it. And I got to go back to crediting Coach Brian Bivens with the program that he set up, and he's done a great job making these guys both competitive, but at the same time getting bigger, stronger, and faster.
Okay. Well, Coach, we appreciate you being on.
Thank
appreciate
you
taking time to be here.
Good seeing you, Coach.
Good to see you, too.
And it is time for a quick break, but stick around. You're watching the Sports Connection on WBKO.